Did you know that there is a spiritual significance to your matrix job that you're working, whether it's in restaurants, corporate, 9 to 5 jobs? Not a lot of people understand the way that business works from a spiritual perspective. And your company's values that you work for are going to be able to show you what lessons that this company is able to offer you. I see businesses and companies as like portals that you can pass through energetically to reclaim parts of your own self or personal power, or even learn new things, new skills. So if you want to know what your matrix job is teaching you right now, then you can look at your company's values and see which one resonates with you. Which one is something that you need to learn, that you want to master? I just recently have mastered the value of, I won't say it because I don't want anyone to identify my job, but I just recently mastered a value. And this process looked like kind of me understanding that I already am this value. It was like it helped me see this part of myself. But upon reflecting on this, I was like, I don't think any of my coworkers are like aligned with any of these values or learning any of these lessons. Like, I was analyzing kind of the energy dynamics of the job, and I was like, these people are still learning things that I can't even remember when my soul learned this shit. Like, my soul learned this shit lifetimes ago. And what I had diagnosed this like energy dynamic with is it was like a king of cups in the reverse frequency, all in this workplace, like emotional manipulation heavy. And I think there's like an overall vibe of confusion there. I've worked at workplaces where the vibe is intimidation, gaslighting. This workplace's vibe is confusion, as well as a little bit of gaslighting and boundary violations. And so I'm wondering, like, how am I like obtaining these codes for these like positive values and these people aren't? What I realize is that a lot of people just genuinely aren't in alignment spiritually, which is why when they're working at these companies, they're not in it for the same reasons that you might be. Or they're just not learning the same spiritual lessons that you are, but you can receive these codes from these companies. And perhaps the shadow people that work in these 3D jobs with you have an ability to create adversity or challenge in your life that kind of allows you to integrate these like values from the company. It's almost like the reward that is reaped from the challenge of working at these workplaces. One thing that's also underestimated is how values shape a company. They're a really important part of how a company feels and how it's ran, and what the culture is specifically. Like, culture is not just who is working there, who you hire. It's how the business is run. How do the policies support employees? How do they not support employees? And I suppose you can see especially bigger corporate companies, I would say they have the most like power, in my opinion, with these values. I've also noticed this with institutions, like mental institutions, mental hospitals, even therapy. These businesses carry codes that your soul can integrate through like being a part of this. If we also want to like think about the 3D world, how this current world, not the earth, the world was built. It was built on greed, stealing from others, energy siphoning. And since it was built on this grid, a lot of the companies are actually holding like codes and power from, like powerful souls in the collective. So when we're like moving through these spaces, it's like you're transmuting adversity. This is what I was going to say earlier. You are learning from the company, while the people who are out of alignment are learning from you. I think that's the funny part about this, is that um, you may resonate as someone like common people aren't really your teachers. It's like you can't really learn too much about them from them at some point. At some point in time, you observe so much and you reap so many lessons from low vibrational people that it just becomes a nuisance in your life or a burden rather than a teacher. And so it's like you are an energetic teacher, and the universe may be planting you with the values of the company. You already hold them as this teacher to the others in the company. And then you can reap the codes and the experience of that workplace. Like on a spiritual level, your experience of working in this workplace is like a form of energy exchange. So you're receiving something. And it's like the more like attractive and magnetic you are, the faster you receive it. And once you receive it, it's almost like these workplaces exit your life. Like when something cannot teach you anymore, it's not in your life anymore. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I would say if someone builds a business, I'm pretty sure I've experienced this. If someone builds a business without like values or structure, and it's very chaotic, the culture usually reflects that as chaos, complete chaos. And it's hard to learn in environments like that. So I wonder what environments are you guys working in? What are your company's values? What are you learning at your company? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. But yeah, like I was saying, the 3D world. It's built on stealing. So if you like take a look at the energies behind like signs and buildings, I wonder if you also can see, like I can, the like evil, demonic energies like within these structures and buildings in the physical. It's almost like a physical reflection of the demonic energies of most of these 3D workplaces, because most 3D workplaces are demonic. And it's really cool to think about it, to look and see the energy in this way. And we can relate this to our life. It's like your past creations in your life kind of carry that same energy of your internal, right? So the creations of a business carries the energy of whatever is internal to the people creating that business. And this is a really powerful thing. I went through this season of destruction, like just like lots of loss, like just a lot of like things exited my life. And what I just recently realized were these things were old creations carrying my old energy and my old self. And in order for me to, it was like as I had undone the old web in my mind, in my internal, the old web of creation, these physical manifestations of that web had like quite rather fiery and forcefully exited my life. And so we can see, if you like really look into the energetics of some of these company structures, they hold this like demonic frequency. And you can see how this like energy, I was just feeling this energy of like, you didn't get here in the right way. I mean, in the integrous way. So yeah, there's codes to be reaped from these businesses and lessons that you can teach others. I found it quite funny. A pattern I noticed in my workplace was that people were very judgmental and really lacking in the skill of understanding. And I realized that like I'm like overstanding. Like I'm always trying to understand people. And I have this like deep understanding of people and spirituality in the world. And I was like, the universe had plopped me into this workplace full of people who are what is it? Not misunderstanding. What's the opposite? They're very black and white thinking, or like quick to jumping to conclusions. They're very much like that. And I'm like the person who's like analyzing all. They just dropped me into this field where um I was like the complete opposite energy, and it wasn't fun for me. 11 on the timer. It wasn't fun. Um but yeah. So this is the spiritual significance of business and working 3D matrix jobs. There's lots more reasons why we work in these 3D jobs, but thank you for watching.